legendary Hydra to the evil twin of Santa Claus. Here are 13 mysterious mythological monsters. Welcome to Crypto Fun Fridays. Number 13. Caladrius. Hailing from Roman mythology, the Caladrius is a completely white bird that usually resides in the palaces of kings. It's said the creature can absorb any illness from a human, then fly away and disperse the malady, curing both itself and the afflicted person. In Greek mythology, this creature was known as Dalian. Kok-uh-triss. The name of this Japanese creature translates to filth licker and is a reference to the peculiar habit of slipping into bathrooms and literally licking them clean. It's described as a goblin-like critter with a humanoid body, shaggy hair, and one toe on each foot. Although descriptions do vary, they're usually described as having reddish skin. One characteristic that stays constant, though, is the monster's tongue. It's said to be quite long and dripping with a poisonous saliva. As you might expect, the tongue is used to lick filth and grime in those difficult-to-reach places. Some say the filth actually serves as a food source for the Kok-uh-triss. The Walpert Injure. This creature is found in German folklore and inhabits the Bavarian alpine forests. Accounts vary, but the beast is said to exhibit the body of a squirrel, the legs of a pheasant, a rabbit's head, wings, and the antlers of a deer. This animal resembles others found in various folklore, such as the American jackalope, which resembles a jackrabbit with the horns of an antelope, and it shares some similarities with the elwidrich, which is an animal that resembles a chicken with antlers. Today, stuffed animal versions of the Walpert Injure are sold as souvenirs, and the creature is on permanent display at the German Hunting and Fishing Museum in Munich. Cactus Cat. This feline critter has been spotted in the southwestern desert of the U.S. from California to New Mexico. Said to resemble bobcats, these creatures had armored tails, thorn-like fur, and razor-sharp spines extending from the front legs. These unusual beasts were often seen in the 19th century by cowboys at night, slashing open cacti to eat the flesh and sap. While intoxicated by the sap, the cactus cat was said to be relatively harmless, but it was known to be highly territorial and would viciously attack any intruding animal, often leaving them with deep gashes and fatal wounds. And it was not unusual for frontiersmen to wake up and find themselves covered in welts from the cat's branched tail. The creature's unearthly wailing has been likened to that of the puma, leading some cryptozoologists to speculate there might be a connection between the two felids. Leschi. Known as a male forest spirit, this creature appears in Slavic folklore, and it often appears as a tall, pale-skinned man with hair and beard composed of vines and grass, although he's sometimes depicted as having hooves, horns, and a tail. Often seen in the company of bears and gray wolves, the Leschi is thought to protect wild animals and trees. In fact, the creature can assume the shape of plant life ranging from a blade of grass to towering trees. While some accounts describe them as mischievous, other accounts offer a darker perspective. The Leschi is said to be a temperamental creature that enjoys abducting children and luring human travelers to the caves where the victims are tickled to death. Raiju. Also known as the Thunder Beast. Raiju is found in Japanese mythology. While it may assume the shape of a cat or weasel, it most often appears as a dog or wolf colored white and blue and covered in lightning. It can also fly about in the shape of a ball of lightning while emitting a booming cry that sounds like thunder. The beast is generally harmless, but during thunderstorms, it becomes agitated and will leap about trees and fields. Did you know Raiju is the companion of the Shinto god of lightning, Raijin? Trolls. Creatures identified as trolls appear in Norse mythology and Scandinavian folklore, and are said to live in isolated caves and mountains or underground. Descriptions of them vary. They can be giant, ugly creatures with enormous strength, or they can appear much like the average human being. But most accounts say they do pose a danger to humans and are often considered man-eaters. Some sources indicate that exposure to sunlight will cause trolls to turn into stone, and the creatures have become associated with particular landmarks that are said to bear a troll-like formation. Variations of trolls today appear in certain aspects of popular culture around the world and can often be found lurking online. Wuji. These are small bipedal humanoid creatures found in Wampanoag Native American folklore. According to legend, they stand between 2 to 3 feet tall and have human features, albeit with enlarged fingers, ears, and noses, and gray skin. They're also said to have a wide array of abilities. In addition to occasionally glowing, these creatures can appear and disappear at will. They can create fire at their discretion, use magic when necessary, and transform themselves into a walking porcupine. But the creatures are known to have a nasty streak. Although once said to be friendly with humans, they're now known to kidnap people, so no wonder people are advised to leave these creatures alone. Basilisk. According to European legend, this reptile is often referred to as the king of the serpents due to a crown-shaped crest on its head, and a single glance from its eyes is enough to kill you. One of the earliest known accounts of the creature dates to around 79 AD, where it was actually described as resembling a cow. More often, however, the monster is described as something of a hybrid, having a snake-like tail with a body that contains the legs, head, and wings of a cockatrice, that being a bipedal dragon-like creature with the head of a rooster. The basilisk is said to leave a wide trail of poison in its wake, making it easy to spot the beast's den because all the vegetation around it has been scorched by the toxin. Did you know that the only creature immune to the basilisk's deadly gaze is the weasel? Bonnekin. This legendary creature lived in Europe and Asia and is said to resemble a bison with a horse-like mane and horns that curve inward. The creature appears during the Middle Ages in bestiaries or fables, where it's described as having reddish-brown to black fur. Because its horns were ineffective for fighting, the beast developed a unique way to defend itself. When threatened, the creature would fire huge chunks of dung from its posterior at its attacker, at a range covering more than 600 meters. The dung was said to scorch its victims with a type of fire, enabling the bonnekin enough time to make its escape. Padfoot. Now, these creatures are most often described as ghostly black dogs and are often found in the folklore of the British Isles. However, variations of these beasts also appear in various folklore from around the world. Black dogs are nocturnal entities that appear as apparitions and are often linked to the hellhound. They usually have glowing eyes and generally appear larger than a normal canine. By some accounts, the creature can turn invisible and can shapeshift, assuming the form of demonic sheep or a huge black donkey. The harrowing sound of rattling chains is said to be audible in whatever form it assumes, and all variations of the creature have this in common. Seeing it means a portent of death for the witness. Did you know the malevolent black dogs served as inspiration for the Sherlock Holmes adventure, The Hound of the Baskervilles? The Hydra. Now, this is likely one of the more recognizable creatures on our list. More formally identified as the Hydra of Lerna, the serpentine water monster has its origins in Greek and Roman mythology. The oldest documented description of the beast dates back to around 700 BC. It lived in the Lake of Lerna, which was said to be the gateway to the underworld. The Hydra was known to have many heads, but the exact number varies according to the sort. We found estimates ranging from 9 heads to 50. Generally, the Hydra is thought to regenerate 2 heads for every one that is cut off, but numbers as to that can vary as well. Most accounts are consistent regarding the creature's poisonous breath and blood. Even its scent was said to be lethal. The Hydra was said to be killed by Hercules in the second of his 12 labors. Krampus. If Santa Claus had an evil doppelganger, it might be this creature. In folklore of regions extending from Eastern Europe to northern Italy, Krampus is actually one of St. Nicholas's companions, although his exact origin remains unclear. But while Krampus carries a sack, it's not filled with presents. The sack contains naughty kids being transported to be drowned or eaten. The creature's malevolent manner is only enhanced by its appearance, usually described as being covered in dark hair with cloven hooves, horns, a long pointed tongue, and fangs. This bad Santa is essentially half demon, half goat. In certain parts of Europe, Krampusnacht, or Krampus Night, is celebrated on December 5th. The beast appears with Santa Claus on city streets as they visit homes and businesses. But while Saint Nick hands out gifts, Krampus hands out coal.